What's up? We're the FREESTYLE on HamiltonRadio.net. I'm Ralphie Rodden, also known as DJ Noise. And for some of y'all who know me, I'm a community activist, potentially running for office in the near future. Not near, but future. Laying the groundwork down. And, you know, obviously, what's going on. You know, we're going to see how our weekends were. How was your week? How was your weekend?
It was alright. I ain't do nothing. I was going to go ahead and skip on to yours.
Yeah, mine was chill. It was okay. You know, I went to my nephew's graduation. Congrats, PJ. You know, graduating high school. I watched this child, you know, this young man grow up from a little tyke to, you know, he's a lot like your size now. He's tall. Like he's supposed to be a cop, and you know, he's athletic. Unfortunately, he couldn't finish his senior year due to COVID. But congrats to him. Much respect to him. I hope that you know, he achieves his goals and becomes a police officer that he wants to become. Another nephew that is going to become a cop as well in New York. My respects to them. You know, I am, as you know, I believe in Black Lives Matter, but I also am pro-police because, you see, I have family, friends that I respect all my life, you know, as cops. I look at things differently than others. I just read that supposedly Jacob Blake was indeed armed. Okay, then it was justified. But at the same time, those cops should have had a better understanding. If he was indeed armed, they should have had him on the ground. I'm sorry. Your lack of training, as I can see in the video. Nobody, if you're about to arrest somebody and you're saying resist, you should never allow them to get away from you around a vehicle. It's like a fighter. If I'm a trained fighter, you never let them get this far or to this side when you're fighting. You know, you made a fatal mistake. So, end of story. Okay, if it was justified, okay. Still, the lack of training, and in my opinion, still excessive force. At the end of the day, 12 people are still going to decide the fates of either one of them. If he was resisting arrest, if he warranted the reasoning to get shot, I talked about this earlier. If it was justified. What was not justified is shooting into a car or a vehicle with 3 children in there. Okay, the police force is still going to be, the city, the state, and the police force is still going to get sued, regardless. Because yes, granted, you are justified for shooting him, and maybe not justified for excessive force. You still gotta see a court of law. They're gonna be sued. So yeah, even though he might be convicted or found guilty, or it was justified, there's still a lawsuit gonna come. Best believe that. That is how this works. Correct me if I'm wrong. And supposedly he is paralyzed from the waist down. Supposedly he was charged with sexual assault and he had supposedly warrants. Okay, at that moment, if it was justified, didn't mean that they needed to shoot him. If they were properly trained, they could have wrestled him to the ground. 3 guys, 3 cops. I mean, come on, you ain't trained how to fight? If you're a cop, you're not trained how to fight? I mean, come on, listen. I know cops, and some of these dudes are trained to fight. Some of the friends, they're trained to fight. I'm keeping it real. Listen, remember, I'm pro cop and I'm pro BLM. Just keeping it real. That's the end of that story. We understand there's protests. We understand there's rioting. Okay, I believe in peaceful protests. I do not believe in the rioting. But who am I? I'm just a guy on Facebook that's an activist. I don't have a police degree. I don't, like I said, I've already identified several times that I'm not a lawyer, judge, cop, or prosecutor. But you could also pick apart these videos and you can see the holes in the training. That's it. That's all. That's my argument. If it was justified, great. Remember, we weren't there. We don't have the full body cams. We don't have the whole full story. Just like George Floyd, just like Breonna Taylor, that is yet to find justice for. Same thing with Elijah McClain. He was completely innocent. Everybody leaves him out of the equation. You know, and I will speak about Elijah McClain one more time. He was in Aurora, Colorado, where he had a mask on, walking home, doing nothing wrong. He didn't resist. They pounced on him, dropped him, put their knee on his neck, shot him up with some sedatives to calm him down because they said he was being hyper. If you listen to those videos, you can clearly see he was calm, collected, and able to articulate what he was talking about. Okay? And remember, that theater shooter was from Aurora, Colorado. This guy just opened fire and killed all these people. But he wasn't. He was brought in with a police vest, and he was brought in, right or wrong, alive. Elijah McClain was killed simply because he had a mask on and was black. Put yourself in your shoes now, walking around with a mask. Could somebody get killed walking around with a mask? Absolutely, absolutely. We're wearing a mask, and we're told, we should not glorify wearing our masks, right or wrong. But what we're doing is we're showing that there's different masks that we could wear, to show our heritage, our sports teams, our religious beliefs, whatever it is may be. So you can see that is not a mask. That's why I don't have a complete black mask. Most of you see that I have masks like people have sneaker games. Be real. And I wash my masks. If they're dirty and I feel that they need to be clean, I wash them by hand, scrub them, and personally dry them. You know what I'm saying? Fast forward. Last night in Wisconsin, an Illinois individual, an underage 17-year-old, opened fire on protesters. Supposedly, they were rioting. Well, I posted this earlier. I said this about earlier. I kept on saying, the guy will be charged with murder, and he will do time. Hands down, because he had criminal intent. There was an intent with a gun. First of all, you took a gun. In my opinion, he was supposed to be 18 to have that gun. In my strong opinion, it doesn't take a genius to understand this. The motherfucker took his fucking gun from one state to another. That's a federal offense with criminal intent. Right? Am I wrong? Right. Okay. And guess what happened, guys? For all, so supposedly, how there's, I'm supposedly a Facebook lawyer or whatever the fuck I'm being called. But I clearly said he will be charged because he had intent. When you bring a gun from one state to another to a protest or whatever, because you're protesting, counter-protesting, and you want to show that you got a gun, you have criminal intent. And guess what? Before coming here, I YouTubed and I seen the news media outlets that said he was charged with homicidal intent or homicide, some shit like that. Homicide with intent. So yes, a prosecutor and a judge will slap him silly and put him away for a good number of years. You not only killed one, but you killed two, and you injured one. That's 3 attempted murders, one attempted murder, and 2 charges of murder. Federally breaking a federal offense. It's a federal offense to bring a gun over the state. It's jurisdiction. It's just jurisdiction, right? Jurisdiction. You can't transport a gun. It's illegal unless you have a gun permit to carry from state to state. Unless you're a federal officer or FBI or cop, some sort of, you need to have written permission. And this little young motherfucker didn't. So let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. He had no okay. So yes, criminal intent, homicide, murder. He might be. Listen, he might have gotten off with homicide, 2 charges of homicide. What about the other guy? He still shot him. So more charges are gonna come. And earlier I said I was real. If you're gonna come on my page and debate, I don't mind you debating. I don't give a fuck. But you know what? Don't disrespect my friends because my friends, you think, overstep their bounds or are coming off racist. Listen, this is my page. I don't go on anybody's fucking page unless it's about to educate people. And that's what I do. I educate motherfuckers. I don't try to, but I have to. Why? Because I see stupid shit constantly. There's a reason why I'm running in the future for office. Because the shit that I'm seeing warrants me to do this. This was predicted 20 years ago, 25, almost 25, 30 years ago that I would run for office and I'm going to win. Confidently, I think I might win. I'm going to be real. I think. Listen, made a better man wins when it happens and in the future. Not saying today, this election. There could be a couple elections away from there. When I'm ready, I'm going to run. But I'm going to definitely run. Not today, not this moment. But in order for us to change, we have to keep voicing our opinions. Listen, it doesn't take a genius to see a video and understand. You don't have to be in law enforcement to understand and how do you can take down and pick apart a video. Whether if it was justified or not. You can see what's wrong in the video. We're seeing videos like this and we can see it doesn't take a genius to see holes in training or the guy had criminal intent. I didn't even have to see the video. Just knowing what happened gave me a clear say, yeah, this guy's going to go away for at least 10, 15 years. At least minimum. If he's lucky that he's underage, but I think they're going to try him as an adult. You killed 2 people, and somebody was talking about why did they release his name? Well, you just killed somebody. It becomes public record when you kill somebody. No matter how old you are, you kill somebody. So that then becomes public record. Should we release an underage kid's name? No. But he killed 2 people with a long gun from a different state to another state. And I urge anybody who wants to call, please. I don't care. But I'm just keeping it real. However you slice this fucking bread, he still, brought a gun from another state and had intent. If he lived there and he was protecting his business and then shot somebody, then that's self-defense. If that state warrants self-defense, how in New Jersey we have self-defense laws, but they don't really apply when you're defending yourself, depending on the situation, severity of the situation. Yes, the judicial system is fucked up in the United States, but you know what? We have to keep voicing our opinions. We have to keep protesting. I'm not saying we need to keep rioting, but I'm saying we need to keep protesting. We need to change. We need to do better as a society. And I'm not saying this is not a color thing. We as a whole, we are said to be the United States. Then why the fuck don't we act united? Everybody else is laughing at us. The whole world laughs at us because we call ourselves the United States, yet we don't look at us. We're not united. We divide ourselves at party, race, religion, anything else. We divide ourselves. If they're poor, I don't want to hang with him. He's poor. He doesn't have money. Doesn't change the person's personality or the type of person they are. They might be rich in knowledge. Okay. If your race is different, you have a different color. You have a different color. You feel that you don't want to hang with somebody because they're. We're not united. We're not united as we say we are. We should do better. We need to do better. And I urge that we all do better. Okay. Simple respect, sir, ma'am. Open a door for somebody. It goes a long way. It doesn't take that. Listen, it doesn't take much to be nice. If you don't like somebody, don't say shit. You know what I'm saying? Keep your distance. If they touch you, then kick their ass. Guys, hey, do what you gotta do and kick their ass. You know, if you need to kick somebody's ass. And yes, if you are resisting arrest and the police are detaining you, doesn't matter what color you are. Yes, follow the fucking laws. But the police should also follow the same procedures as well. They are here to serve and protect us. Our taxpayers pay the salaries. Am I right or wrong? As well as, appointed, voted, elected politicians, we have to hold them accountable, because if we don't, this shit's gonna just keep happening. Yes, so when you have an issue with people protesting, well, you have an issue with the First Amendment right? You have an issue with freedom of speech, and if you look at your constitutional right, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, you're gonna see First Amendment right is the right to freedom of speech and to assemble peacefully, right? To hold our governments accountable. It's right there. It's right there. It is a right to do so. Another thing. The murders in Trenton. It's sickening. Trenton is on course to shatter the personal record. It's sad. It's sad. And I don't give a fuck who disagrees with me. But you know what? When you're a woman is standing on her porch, working on her phone, talking to a client, and gets shot with a stray bullet, and you say, "Stay vigilant." Is that the message that we want to send people in Trenton? You need to stay vigilant. Really? On your porch? You got to stay vigilant on your own porch. I'm not even gonna comment further, but I felt that I should comment on that, because staying vigilant, we're trying to, is what's getting us killed basically in Trenton, right? The people in Trenton getting killed. It's sad that at this moment we're on course for 44 deaths in Trenton. Listen, I don't live in Trenton. I'm gonna be real with you, but I live close to Trenton. I'm directly over a border. I represent Trenton as my hometown. That's where I grew up. That's where I was born. My father climbed the water tower right behind right behind the right near the food bazaar. My father climbed that completely. No ropes, no nothing. He climbed that. Okay. I lived in the Berg. I used to go, to Columbus Park as a kid. I used to play on one side of the field while the ones with money played for the real teams. I played sandlot ball. I was still damn good, but I played sandlot ball. I used to go to all the parades, the Columbus Parade, the St. Patrick's Parade, the Puerto Rican Day Parade, even go to Heritage Day. Trenton has a real rich history. That screen took it keeps on coming in and out. Trenton has a real rich history. I am Trenton. I don't need a residence to say I'm from Trenton. I love Trenton. I want to see Trenton prosper. I'm not making anything political about it. I'm not. I can't. There's no reason to. But the fact is facts. What you see is what you see. Per cap in the city, our crime is bad. And I hope that it is rightfully addressed. Those that need to be held accountable, and I'm saying this clearly, should be held accountable. If you're not doing your job, then do it better. That's what I'm saying. Just being real. And I felt I needed to say that because we are Hamilton Radio. We talk about the local, what's going on in the local area, right? We usually, if you go back a couple years, you go back, before I was very outspoken, I've always been talking about Trenton. Correct me, right? I had politicians on here, invited mayoral candidates, councilmen, of all different walks, different activists, different kind of, different community leaders. I don't use this platform because I'm looking for likes. I don't use this platform because I want views. I'm not using this platform to make me rich because I don't get paid from this. I'm using this platform to voice my opinion time and time and again, to give you real raw shit, real news that some of these outlets, these corporate outlets, won't give you. Just hands down, real shit. Based on facts. If it's fake, then we say, hey, we messed up a little. But it's real shit. I don't need some fake radio host from some other state to say, oh, you guys are dumb. You guys don't know what the hell you're talking about. If you're sharing a video of my daughter, and if I find you, I might kick your ass. Simple as that. Because I might look at it as you're a pedo sharing a video of my daughter on my show. Okay? Let me readdress that. I felt I had to. Secondly, I respect everybody. I love everybody. Somebody tonight called me racist. I'm married to an Italian woman, have biracial Italian, Spanish kids, right? Puerto Rican kids. One of my best friends is black. I've known him for 25 years, right? 25 years? 25 years. I look at him. I look at him, even though I'm older than him, I look up to him as he looks up to me. We respect, we debate, we can disagree. We've been, back in the day, we fought people together. We got into carloads together. I mean, listen. This guy and me and him been on the front lines fighting, chilling, drinking, hanging out, going to school. And the same respect would be given if he was white. It doesn't. I see everybody. I love everybody equally. You know what I'm saying? Same thing if I had a white host, I would still respect in the same way. I have a lot of friends that are best friends from all different walks of life. Shout out to my brother Jason Carriola. We're talking tonight. Shout out to you, brother. It is always good to talk to somebody that is like-minded. I will never forget that when I was the fight against Columbus, the statue, you immediately jumped in when somebody called me racist, and you had my back from the jump. As I always have yours. We grew up together. We're hung out at Columbus Park since we were kids. I know him 33 years, maybe 34 years, something like that. So I appreciate those that I know for 20, 30 years plus. Some people come off as racist on my page, and I'm going to keep it real. Some people come off as racist, but it's not. If I know you and I'm not going to delete you, there's a reason why, because our friendship goes back 20, 25, 30 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's not. I didn't just become friends with these people. Certain individuals, I'm gonna keep it real. A brother-in-law of mine, always talking some ill shit on my page. Every time I would do something, oh, it's so great that you're standing up for people. Sarcastically, and also saying at the same time, go get a hobby. I don't make this a hobby. I don't make this a hobby. I understand, when you told me, Ralph, you're going in a different direction. You have become the activist that you have always been. And you clearly told me, this is where people will love you and people will hate you. People will try to use you and people will try to shun you. And it's okay. I welcome it. It's a part of the territory. I'm in the media. People call me fake news all the time, whatever. I'm not fake news. It's real shit. But I accept my purpose, my role. I'm a loving husband. Even though my wife drives me fucking bananas. I love my kids. I strive to be a better father every day. I wasn't given a playbook on how to be a father. My father was not there for me. My father was an addict. He left my mom at 3 years old. He tried to come at her with a butcher knife And I seen that. Traumatized. You know, he tried to kill my uncle and my mom in front of me and my sister. We're going back in the early 80s. It was 82, 83, something like that. And I remembered like it was yesterday. And he left me at a very young age. My mom had to raise 3 kids. You know, she met another man, you know, and I have a half brother. Well, I don't look at him as a half brother. He's always been my brother. You know what I'm saying? My life, I didn't just wake up and decide to be this person. You know, I grew up going to the Feast of Lights, you know, in the Berg. I lived in the Berg. I seen the racism. I seen it with my own eyes. You know, one side, I would go to one side and say, hey, guys, to my Italian friends. And then, you know, the Italians would be like, yo, go back, you know, to your Spanish, to your Latin side. You're not Italian. And I'd go back to some of the Puerto Ricans, and they'd be like, yo, Ralph, go back to your Italian friends. So I've always been pulled back and forth. I went to Hamilton West my first year. I was put in racial riots, and I didn't even have nothing to do with them. Every time they brought up all the bad kids, we would bring up, and I'm like, why am I here? I had nothing to do with anything. It's because of the influence that I had then. In high school, the influence I had. And I'm not trying to, you know, take my shit out and then whip it all over because I have influence. That's not how. But I'm saying, I didn't just become an activist. I didn't just find a hobby to post news. I'm not going to change. You need to understand who I am. Former leader of a gang. Yes, I will admit that. A former leader of a gang. I was a kid growing up in a racist area, and it wasn't a gang, but it was like a fraternity. Why did we start a crew, a group of friends to protect each other? Because we were dealing with racism. I had 2 black friends on my porch. The pit bulls attacked us, 20, 30 of us. It was 6 or 7 of us fighting 20, 30 of us, or 20 and 30 of them. I had a 9mm or 22mm or handgun pointed to my face, and I was only 14, 15 years old. Why? I was simply living in a white neighborhood, having 2 black friends on my porch that are still considered my brothers to this day. You know, before you comment, I need you to understand who I am. Like I said, my father was an addict. My mom went to prison for 3 years. I went from family to family. Yes, I beat the fucking odds because a man like me should not be in a position I am. I should be a statistic, but guess what? I defined those odds. And I'm not here to talk about myself, but I'm here so you understand when you call me racist, when you call me names, when you say I'm a hater, when you say I'm this or that. Don't understand my whole entire person. Listen, I can write a book and I can be a #1 seller in New York. Hands down. I got stories for days. And you know, but at the end of it all, with all the shit that I went through, thrown in jail for a gun that I didn't have, almost facing 15 years, trumped up by cops, truthfully, trumped up by cops. Yes, I had been racially profiled, time and time again. I was on a date one day with a girl, good friend of mine, still a great friend, one of my best friends. And crazy shit is, the cops pulled me out of the car, searched me, without even having a motive, without even having any evidence. They pulled me out, searched me. I didn't do nothing. I didn't break the law. This was time and time again. The police labeled us as gangs, as a gang. We were not that. We didn't go and sell drugs. We didn't go beat up old ladies and rob people, you know, rape people. We didn't do that. We just hung out, drank, you know, illegally. Yeah, we drank. We were kids. We didn't know any better. We grew up at a time with pagers. Some people don't know what pagers are. We grew up at a time with, some of us were so poor we didn't have PlayStation or Sega Genesis or Nintendo. You know, I had I may have had something secondhand. I had an Atari that didn't have the plug to put in, or the thing behind the TV. My shit was black and white. My wires were split, so I had to take the wires and wrap them around the little screw. Listen, if you don't know the real me, sit down with me. Sit the fuck down with me. I'm a real righteous person. I'm real. I love everybody. I respect everybody. Okay? I'm a taxpayer. I am a true patriot. I will voice my opinion. I will vote. And I admit if I voted for the wrong person, then I'm going to vote for the other person. Listen, I admit if I'm wrong. I admit if I'm out of place. But I also am educated in certain topics, educated in certain things. That just because I throw something on, just because I post something, doesn't give anybody the fucking God-given right to say, hey, why you gotta stop? Why you gotta be posting this shit? Why you gotta be dividing us? Why? Because A, it's the freedom of speech, and it is my right to voice my concerns and opinions because we're not holding our elected officials accountable. Hands down. I don't know if you have anything. I know I just been yapping for the last 15, 20 minutes, but you know, this is me. What you see is what you're gonna get. If some shit happens again, whether it's white, black, I'm gonna post it. I have every right to. I'm in the media. This is what I do. This is not a hobby. I've been doing this for 6 years. 6 years I've been doing this on radio. 6 years. I started it with Viking 89 in Mercer County College. My first year being asked to join the radio station, I was one of the top 3 guys. I was a manager. I was a managing coordinator I was like a manager, I coordinated the shows, gave people shows, put people on the radio in college. The reason why I walked away from that because the college had a hidden agenda, and I can say this openly, real shit. They had a hidden agenda. They didn't want the radio station to prosper. They didn't want it to go more than what it was. They only wanted their private radios to go up. And when I had people wanting to offer money and scholarships and stuff, they wanted to take it and steal the glory. We don't want to. We'll take your money, but we want to work with you directly. We don't want to work with Ralph. Why? You just kicked yourself in the ass because you were gonna get funding. All you had to do is, I legitimately had people offering scholarships, on my behalf to a community college. Okay. I didn't have to do that. And that was 7 years ago, 6 years ago. I don't regret walking away from that. Because you know what? I walked into this. I walked out of that door, closed that door, and walked into this, and it opened doors. Not saying that I become a career radio personality, but I'm a lot more, talking in front of a camera, talking in front of people. Now comes naturally. I can get in front of anybody. I can get in front of 1,000 people, 3,000 people. Remember, I'm a DJ. I can also do that too. I can get in front of many people. I don't mind. I love being able. My biggest passion is I love being able to educate the people that don't have the proper education. And I'm not using this term again because I'm referring to anybody. I'm using it as an everyday thing. I used Christopher Columbus today when through everything that I fought painstakingly, I didn't even go to a funeral because I was watching I had a concern that if I went to a certain funeral that people that did not agree with me were going to be there. So I elected not to go to the funeral. That's crazy. But yes, I had to put my own safety first. My own safety and my family's safety first. Of course, everybody sees me as some type of hero and a person to look up to because I'm a community activist, and I was influential in helping. I'm not taking all the credit. I'm not, but I was there. I protested it. I protested online. I fought tooth and nail with all the groups that kicked me out, that I was in, that I happened to be in, because I'm Trenton. I lived in the Berg. But some people that don't see it that way, oh, you're not Italian, so you're not from the Berg. Well, I lived in the Berg. I played wiffle ball, tennis, baseball in St. Joachim's parking lot. I used to go to that church across of St. Joachim's on Butler Street when it was a school. I mean, a store, and I used to buy penny gum for a penny. So I'd go there with a whole dollar and get like 100 pieces. I'm serious. I can't make this shit up. I would go to the Colonial Bakery and run through the back and into the kitchen and run out. I would go through either the Italian people would sneak back there and run out. And, the Guats back there were like, hey, get out of here. And I'm saying, it's only me. And they're like, oh, get out of here. And they throw me some bread. It was, I grew up in Trenton at a different time. I got up, seeing the Licardello and Sons trucks, move produce. I seen, the old the late old shoemaker, doing shoes and stuff like that. The Mr. Petrino's store right next to us. All the guys would sit out there at night. I would go in and buy stamps from him, Klondike bars, and some baseball cards when he had them. And I would go around the corner and trade different friends my baseball cards. Legit. But the Berg wasn't always the greatest town or the greatest part of town to live in, especially if you're a different color. And I physically would see people getting chased. Physically. I'm not making this shit up. Physically. Listen, I experienced it myself. So we have to, and I'm saying this because people are like, racism is never going to end. So that means we should just shut the fuck up and accept the fact that racism is never going to end and let it keep shining? No, it is up to us to continue to fight, to change, to make things better, to make us all better. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. Again, I apologize if I talked a little too much, kept it real, kept it going. But I talk some sense. I'm a sensible guy, At the end of the day, I want us all to be good. I want us all to be peaceful. Unfortunately, shit like that doesn't allow it. And let's not forget, while we're referring to these protesters as Antifa, not all of them are Antifa. They're burning buildings down, burning, this down, whatever. Let's not forget, I think, was it 60 years ago? A little less than 60 years ago, 45, maybe 50 years ago. The KKK was burning churches and houses, okay? Nobody ever said they were a terroristic group. Just want to remind people of that. Just real shit. Just real knowledge. Google that. Fact check that if you think I'm wrong. Again, I'm not here to debate anybody. If you want to call in, the number is on the screen. You can call in. I welcome you to the table. If you got 5 minutes, try it. Let's do this. I don't mind debating anybody. But when you if you debate, please be aware that if you're talking, that Jacob Blake deserved to get shot, he had warrants, he was charged. Listen, remember the one thing that's golden. He is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. At the end of the day, that is our Constitution, right? That is our Bill of Rights. That is our system. So we should not automatically okay the shooting of somebody. Shooting an individual should be last resort. At that moment, if they wanted to, one could have said, if you don't stop, I'm going to shoot. And my understanding is that he may have not known they were walking behind him. He didn't know that the incident was still on him, The focus was still on him. Could he have not known? It's possible. It's possible. It could have been a totally misunderstanding. And if he did have a weapon and he showed it and the cops kept on giving those commands, then 1000% it was justified. Not justified in shooting into a car. Should never let anybody get around that fast. If you're trained, you would know. You don't let somebody get away from you like that. Especially you got the guns drawn. You got the guns drawn. You have right now. You got a gun. You got the power to say, "Hey, if you don't get down, I'm gonna put one in your leg. If you don't get down again, I'm gonna put second one in your leg." That's it. Immediately, you got to pull him through and then shoot him. That's in a car full of 3 kids. Those kids are now traumatized. And you know what happens with that? Those poor little kids are gonna grow up to be what? Cop haters. So congratulations. We're now teaching our youth, showing our youth that it's bad. The cops are bad. It's sad. It's truly sad. It's truly sad. Listen, I'm not about defunding the police. I'm about retooling the police. Train them differently. And we shouldn't stop the training when they leave the police force. Some police are, they go and keep training, keep learning things, keep learning laws. You constantly see some of these cops that are dumbfounded when somebody that actually knows the law says, you can't do this, you can't do that, can't do this. I'm like, what? And then makes them look like an idiot and then post it on social media, YouTube, Facebook. Then if they abuse their power, they can get written up, possibly terminated, whatnot, whatever. But the last resort shouldn't be to shoot somebody. Listen, if you're gonna try to attack me, I'm not gonna try to kill you. I'm gonna try to get you off me. You know what I'm saying? That's my mission. If it needs to come down to where I have to, and I hope that I never have to, I hope that I never have to kill somebody, because I have to live with that, then I have to answer that to God. And if you fear God, you should understand that if you believe in God, believe in God. Well, we should fear God because that man has the ability to send us to hell. Whether you believe in hell or not, it's still a thing. We're all led to believe, if we're not good, we go to hell. So why the hell can't we be good? Why can't we be better than ourself yesterday? Why can't we be at a better version today than yesterday? You know what I'm saying? Why can't we strive to be better? Why isn't that we have to divide each other? You know what I'm saying? Why is it that when I'm trying to properly drop some knowledge, immediately, the sides are, it's always black and white. It's always, it's always the obvious. I'm not gonna say I rarely see it, because I do see a lot of my friends, different races, all agreeing and disagreeing. And like I said, this kid, Kyle, whatever his name was, if he owned a property and the rioters were going to his house to burn his house down or his place of business, and he pulled out a gun, I would have 1000%. You know what? It's justified. He deserves a medal. But the scenario wasn't that way. It didn't go that way. He, like I said, took a gun from his home state to another state with the intent. It's clear. It's the intent. You're not going to bring a gun to go hunting. But he did. He hunted people. So it's sad because I'm pretty sure nobody thinks about this kid's parents. This kid's parents is probably ashamed. And believe me, I've seen the video that people tried to go and talk to them, and they had police escort them off the properties. So again, 4 families were ruined last night because of his intent, trying to be a good Samaritan. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Listen, you bring a gun into another state with intent, you know what? You deserve to be criminally charged with murder if you kill somebody. And in this sense, he did. It's sad to say, but he did. That's the end of that story. Again, anybody want to call in? There's a number. You got a number on the screen, right there. Enough with that. How about my Braves? My Braves are playing the Yankees right now. I don't know what the score is, but I'm gonna look. Last night, a rookie pitcher came up. I've been saying to the Braves, hey, bring him up, bring him up, bring him up. Finally, they brought him up because obviously one of our pitchers is hurt. I'm not thinking that my Braves are gonna take the World Series. It's possible. Crazy things have happened. Actually, we won. We won 2 in a row. Our ace Max Fried and our rookie yesterday. So, how about my Braves? How about my Braves? Much respect to them. Much respect to them. Speaking of sports, I think it's a great thing that every sport, every respected sport, NBA, MLB, you mentioned this just a little bit ago before we got on, that now everybody's canceling their practices, walking off the fields, you know, in protest of what's going on. I mean, these are millionaires. These are billionaires. These are the who is who of sports. And they're now being outspoken a lot more. My hat's off to them. My hat's off to them. Yes, my hat's off to them, to those individuals who are standing up for racial injustice. We should not ever give up the fight for eliminating racism completely across the board. I mean, seeing posts that racism is never going to end, it shatters my hopes, because is that the message that we want to send? Or is it, I hope one day I see the end of racism? Sounds better and is a possibility. It leaves room for hope. When you say it's never going to end, you destroy all hope. You destroy, the kid or child that's reading it. You already destroy their hopes and dreams, because if they're now a minority, seeing that, it's like, shit, man. No matter what I do in life, still gonna be oppressed. So back to me, understanding, seeing things, like how I see things. Like I said, I'm an independent. I'm an independent. I represent the independent, politician, I guess. Independent. I'm not Republican or Democrat. Even though I teeter totter on both political parties, because I like the views of both. Do I have to agree with all? No. I'm old school. I'm old school. I've been voting, since Al Gore. Bush, Al Gore. I think I've been I can remember that far. I voted for, the governors. I think I voted for, McGreevey, or could have been Whitman, mayors, and such. You know what I'm saying? I voted for Gilmore. I voted for Yady. I don't. I could vote for anybody, as long as I believe you having good intentions. I will vote, and that's how I vote. That's how I've always voted. I'm not easily changed by the Republican or the Democrat, but I've always done my research. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. But I've always done my research. One of the things I've learned is the laws. I had some kind of classes in high school, both middle school and high school. I had some kind of understanding of the laws. I had a lot of social studies, history, intertwined with what I was learning, and I picked up a lot of judiciary things. Some things they don't. I don't know if they teach law stuff anymore in school, but I was filling out checks. I was so educated in how to. I was writing a check at 10 years old. I was able to know how to write a check. I hate them. I hate writing checks, but I knew that at that age. I knew about the laws and constitutions, and I say constitutions because the United States has a couple constitutions. Yes, couple. One that stands for the United States. Two, the one that stands for the Puerto Rican Commonwealth, right? Yes, it doesn't completely cover the United States, but it covers American citizens. So yes and yes. I learned a lot of things about, over the years. I went to Washington, D.C. for the 1998 or 99 plebiscite for statehood. I went there. I was in the state. I was in Washington, D.C., and I was in the House listening to to them talk about what's going on the floor. I was physically there. We're going back 20 to almost 20 something years ago, where I had an interest in politics then. So at the end of the day, man, just listen, just get to know me. Just get to know me. Listen, you want to go have a coffee? You want to have a drink? I'm down. Let me know. I don't care. We can go fishing. We can go work out. I'm not into going to the gyms. I go out, work out on the sticks, man. I go out to the parks, go to the what is it, those monkey bars, the pull up bars. I go out and do that real hard shit outside in the in the sweat and the heat. Just saying, just get to know me better. You have anything, brother?
Shout out to Hamilton Radio,
Thank you,
fam,
sir.
friends, all of y'all.
Shout out to everybody listening to us. Much appreciated. Just know next month we'll be going to a half hour. We will make I'll be doing the transition. It'll be 40 minutes for guests and a half hour for just me and him. A little shorter. It'll try to keep our audience engaged. Shout out to everybody listening, tuning in around the world, locally. Shout out to Hamilton Radio for giving us this platform. Shout out to the producers. Shout out to you, my brother. I didn't intend to completely talk the whole show, but it just happened like that. And Billy agrees because he's like, you got the floor, take it. But shout out to us too for just always keeping it real. Much love to my family. Much love to my mom, my mother-in-law, my wife, my daughter, and my son. God bless you guys. And keep it real. Stay true to yourself, and let's try to respect each other a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? It just goes along. It's a little bit more. It goes a little bit more than what we're receiving it. We're the Freestyle Freaks on HamiltonRadio.net. I'm Rapper Rotten, also known as DJ Noise. My right-hand man. On the right, Billy the Kid, Mr. Funny Man, comedian. Look out for his stuff. He's going to be working on some stuff soon. Peace. We're out.